Shanti, good morning. I hope the sound is clear. Brother Avina?
Yes, Sister Usha. Are we not playing a song?
Sorry, come again. It's okay?
Are we playing a song?
Okay, we can do that. We just had,
asking.
You must have had meditation though, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, we also had meditation. I just didn't put the camera on, sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
We can carry on. Yeah.
We can start, huh? Okay. Om Shanti. So today Baba has a very beautiful Murli in that he is giving us the clarity of what self-sovereign is. So let me just ask you a different question, right? You know, in this world, we really appreciate it when people have the right intentions. How would we define the right intention? What would you kind of like qualify the action to have the right intentions? It's from within. It's pure. A little bit more. You know, the word pure, we know, no? If we had to
feel inside is what they're saying.
What they feel inside is what they're saying. Okay. What else? So that's one aspect. So then the other one is what I think I do as well. Yes.
Maybe your action.
Yes. So the actions, the thoughts, the feelings, they're all in alignment. And Baba is also telling us this today. He says that if you don't put into practice that which you think, then actually you're not going to have power. We're going to, in a way, be deceived. But let's just take it a little bit before that even, because, you know, you can think things because you get inspired and then you do it. But when we become Baba's children, one of the things Baba gives us is the gift of the divine intellect. And the intellect is obviously being nourished by Baba's Murli, by Baba's versions, our relationship with Baba. And so then when we start doing things based on that, then not only is it a good intention, but it becomes an elevated intention because it's connected to God's wishes for us. And in a way which I thought was very beautiful, because in a way the blessing is summing up the Murli, because, you know, blessing is like a little bow. It ties the whole Murli together. And so even that last paragraph when Baba finishes the Murli, Baba has like his sort of précis of the whole Murli, and he does it in a few words. And Baba is saying that, you know, because we have this elevated relationship with him, this love for him, when you have love for someone, you generally want to do the things that they love. So we're very good at wanting to take the love. And so Baba is saying, but to have that love, there's a responsibility. That if you don't put that into like what Baba stands for into your life, then you can't really say you love Baba. And I was just thinking like yesterday when Baba he was very clear. No? He said, if you get angry for that few minutes, you can't really call yourself a Brahmin. And, you know, I think some people may have got a little offended because Baba said, well, if you're not a Brahmin and if you can't do this, then go away. And we will think, oh gosh, Baba is being so harsh. I was just sharing that, you know, this is Baba's mercy. Because Baba knows that if you're here listening to these good things and you can't do it, can you imagine how much of remorse you're going to feel? Because you keep hearing, you want to do it, you can't do it. So you will then actually create a little bit more disheartenment in you. But the other thing is that when you know something and you don't do it, you actually then feel useless. So Baba's mercy is very interesting. But that doesn't mean now we say to ourselves, well, this Raj Yoga is like difficult, so let's rather not do it anymore. what is very beautiful in a way to understand how much Baba is there for us. So you just take it one step at a time, not I have to do this, 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 and this. So what is the one step at a time? It's like in this moment, I can assess how I'm feeling. Can I take that feeling and a thought to make it practical? And just work in this present moment to keep my feelings clean, my intentions pure, and my actions in alignment with what Baba is saying. And if we do the small things, like, so for example, in the midst of all of this, you ended up getting angry. So what's the first thing to do? Instead of getting all upset or even covering up, let me actually just take a deep breath and first of all, understand where that's coming from. Then if I need to apologize, because definitely when we get angry, we're going to hurt somebody, isn't it? The hurt that's inside pushes out onto the surface. So then I take that step back and I just sort of like, instead of like now getting even more anxious and whatever, understand what just happened and don't go into the repairing mode. Use that as an opportunity to act wisely. It's like this, right? If you fall down and you're running a race, and as you fall down, you say to yourself, oh gosh, why did I fall? Every moment that you're thinking, you're losing out seconds, and the race is won in seconds. But if you got up quickly and you got your speed back, so you acted in the right way. What happened was not 100% what you would say helpful. But what would be amazing is that if you could get up, get yourself together and move on. So what we don't realize on this path is that even a vice like getting angry or having a conflict with someone is actually a test. It's an examination. It's me colliding with my sanskaras. How do I respond to a collision? How do I respond to an accident? And I may have told the story previously as well, but it was, Sister Sylvia might remember it. It was in the early days in 94 when the government just moved to what we would say a free country. And so everybody was given a chance to get themselves together. But we know that a great portion of our population, especially in the hotel industry, who were waiters and cooks, they never had the qualifications to be called a professional caterer or a cook or a chef, for example, because they never had it. But they were the one doing all the cooking. So what they did is they did a practical examination. So those people who didn't write the exams to become a cook were actually given things to make. And at one point there was a waiter who actually had to serve, and they would actually qualify him to be a professional by how he performed. And in the middle of all of this, he dropped something. And most people have thought that this guy, and he was really one of the best guys. But what happened is that when it fell, the way he cleaned it up is what made him pass. Because it takes a skilled person to rectify a problem. And that's really it. Any mistake can happen by anyone. The person himself who's eating could have made the plate fall. But the waiter was able to so quickly, rescue the situation that the inspectors were so impressed with him. So they did pass him, and he got his kind of qualification. So it's something that we need to shift our attention from, to actually start getting caught up in what is going wrong. So like whether there's a disaster, there's a storm, there's all these things, we can all get into why, what, how, but that's not solving anything. So as master creators, what is our job? Is what energy we give to repairing things so that we're on top of things. Do you remember last week's Murli? Baba was very beautiful in the way he said, things will happen. Just make yourself bigger than the Maya. So then actually Maya can't have a hold on you because you've raised the bar of who you are. And so in our spiritual effort every day, like today, the title is self-mastery. But when we look at the word self-sovereign and self-mastery, it's really what perhaps it's just a more logic word to use, but it's about not letting something get on top of you. You have to stay above it. So Bobby is saying, guess what? Things are going to happen. Matter is also become more forceful. Doesn't mean that I'm a master, I got my seat, so like everything is fine. It's now, how do I remedy? How do I stay above it? That's going to qualify what kind of ruler I am. So when we're listening to Baba, instead of thinking, oh, Baba, I don't know really, this is like a high destination, then you're definitely going to not find yourself progressing. But we need to be able to understand that it's in this second I have a thought, it's in this second I have a feeling, and it's in this moment I can act. How I act is going to define who I am. I could say, I could have done this, I could have done this, and I know this, and I know that. Great, we all know everything. We can also Google and find the solution. But the point is that when it's required, did you use it? So let's listen to Baba with that powerful awareness of what he's really saying. We mustn't actually use Baba's words and do our own thing. We have to understand Baba for the right intentions. So today the Murli is the 29th of May. Can you believe it? May is finished. And this Murli was spoken originally by Baba on the 25th of February, 1991. The title is To Make Your Thoughts and Actions the Same. To make your thoughts and actions the same is fulfilling the responsibility of love for God. Today, Bab Dada is pleased to see his children who have a right to self-sovereignty, because only those who have a right to self-sovereignty can claim a right to world sovereignty for many births. So today, Bab Dada is asking you double foreign children the news of your self-sovereignty. So it's not like who's making you the master. Can you decide whether you're the master or not? Is the kingdom of each of you self-sovereigns functioning well? What you're going to say? Your kingdom working well? Are your cooperative companions who rule the kingdom with you always cooperative, accurately at the right time? Or do they sometimes also deceive you? However many cooperative workers you have, and see how much workers you have, organs, whether physical or subtle, are they all working under your orders? Whatever you order at any particular time, do they become your helpers at that time in that particular way? Do you hold a royal court every day? Are all the workers in your kingdom 100% obedient, faithful, and ever ready? So nice checking. Are they 100% obedient, faithful, and ever ready? How is everything? Is it good, very good, or very, very good? Is the royal court always successful? Or do your cooperative workers sometimes create upheaval? You know the condition of the royal court, the government of this old world very well. There is neither law nor order. Now this is 1991, And we'll say in South Africa, oh, so much corruption, so much problems. But I say it's everywhere. So you're not isolatedly feeling yourself sorry. This is the condition of the world. However, your royal court is lawful and always functions with Haji, yes, indeed, and Haji Hazir, that is, I am present. So all our sense organs, this is how they need to collaborate with us, saying yes. If you say no eating, they'll say, okay, no eating. Sleeping, yes, we'll sleep. No, not now, later, not like that. They say yes, indeed, and always present. To the extent that the ones with the right to rule the kingdom are powerful, accordingly, the cooperative companions of that kingdom also always move along automatically with signals. As soon as the one with the right gives an order, do not listen to this, do not do this, do not say this, they would work according to those signals in a second. It wouldn't be that you give the order, do not look at that, and they look at that and then ask for forgiveness, saying that they made a mistake. If someone thinks about something after doing it, would you call that one a sensible companion? When you order your mind not to have waste thoughts and to put a full stop in a second, it should not take 2 seconds. This is called Yukti Yuk Royal Court. Have you become those with a right to such a kingdom? Do you hold your court every day, or do you only issue an order when you remember? Every day, at the end of the day, check your cooperative workers. When your physical organs or workers repeatedly make a mistake, it is by your performing those wrong actions that it becomes a firm sanskara. Then it takes time and effort to change it. So like a simple thing, in Baba's Yagya, if you perform something wrong, you have to go and tell your senior, right? And people will think, oh, we just tell Baba and that's okay. But if you create the system and maintain it, that if you do something wrong, you must go and tell your senior. Guess what? Just the thought of having to go say will stop you from doing it. So the system is not because Baba is trying to be some authority, but it's the method. There's a method that's there to support us, not because otherwise we think, doesn't really matter. Just do my own thing. I'll tell Baba, I write it in my chart. No one's checking my chart because we don't give anyone to see anyway. So then how am I going to grow? So Baba says, if you check it at that time and then give it that power to change, it will be put right for all time. If you simply repeatedly check yourself and realize that it is wrong, that it is not right, and do not use some method to change it, or do not give the power of knowledge, then transformation doesn't take place by repeatedly checking yourself. You say, but I do check myself, but I'm still not changing. Therefore, first of all, change your physical organs with the power of knowledge. Nice thing to think about deeply. How do you change your physical organs with the power of knowledge? Baba says, do not just think that it is wrong, because you clearly know what is right, and you also know the way to follow what is right. If you continue to tell others, transformation will not take place by just telling them, but as well as telling them, also clarify the method they can use, and they will then be success. Those souls will then remain successful with self-transformation. Those souls will remain successful with their self-sovereignty functioning well. The sign of those who are successful in their self-sovereignty is that they will automatically be content with their efforts. Along with that, all the souls who come into contact with such souls will constantly remain content with those souls, and thanks will always emerge for those souls from their hearts, from their heart. From everyone's heart, the music of the song Va Va would always be emerging. Their ears would constantly hear the music of thanks, of Va Va from everyone. This song is automatic. You don't need to play a tape recorder for this. There is no need for any musical instruments for this. This is an endless song. So have you become such successful self-sovereigns? Successful self-sovereigns of the present time will attain the kingdom of the world in the future, as well as the fruit of their success. If there isn't full success, if it is sometimes like this and sometimes like that, sometimes 100% success and sometimes just success, not 100% success, then such a self-sovereign soul would not attain the throne or a crown of a kingdom, but would become part of its royal family. One is to be seated on the throne, and the other is to be in the royal family, being seated on a throne. To be seated on the throne means that at the present time, too, you remain constantly seated on the double throne. What is the double throne? One is the immortal throne, and the other is the Father's heart throne. So those who are always seated on the double throne, not those who are seated on it sometimes, those who are always seated on the heart throne become constantly seated on the throne of the kingdom of the world. So check yourself. Was I seated on the double throne throughout the day? If you were not seated on your throne, then your cooperative workers could not obey your orders. When Baba uses this term of seated on the throne, he spoke the other day about the position. Only those who hold the position have the authority. So when you say, don't want the chair, I'm not sitting on the chair, that you don't have the position or the authority. So a king's orders are obeyed. If the king is not on his throne and issues an order, it is not obeyed. Nowadays, instead of a throne, they have a chair. The throne system has finished. They are not worthy, and so the throne has disappeared. If you are seated on your chair, everyone will obey you. If you are not seated on your chair, not everyone will obey you. However, you are not politicians in a chair. You are kings who have a right to self-sovereignty. Are all of you kings, or are some of you subjects? So we're learning Raja Yoga, or we're doing Praja Yoga. Baba says, to be a Raja Yogi means to be a king. Look how multi-million times fortunate you are. The world, especially, that is, especially the countries abroad, are in upheaval. They are in a confusion of war and defeat. Some are being defeated, some are at war, and others are in upheaval, hearing about commotion everywhere. So the Gulf War was taking place at that time. So they are in an upheaval of defeat or war, whereas you are lost in Babdada's love. God's love has pulled you from far away and brought you here. No matter what the circumstances are, they cannot stop you in front of God's love. God's love becomes the intellect of the wise and changes situations into an elevated stage. Among double foreigners too, see those from Poland used to make so much effort, and they used to think that it was impossible. However, what does it feel like now? Even those from Russia used to think that it was impossible, even if they had to wait in a queue for 24 hours, they reached here. The difficulty became easy. So you would say, thanks, would you not? It will continue to happen like that all the time. Something, planes will stop flying at the end. So how will we come here? Baba says, God's love has such power that it will cast magic in someone's eyes so that they will be compelled to send you. However, you mustn't be those who just have love for God, but those who fulfill the responsibility of love. The Father has promised those who fulfill the responsibility of love that I will also continue to fulfill the responsibility of love in order for any problems to be overcome right until the end. There's one Sakar Murli, Baba said that when calamities come, those who do service, I will protect them. Normally he's telling us, you have to fend for yourself at the end. It was very nice. So it's nice to grab some of these little points of commitment that God has made. We know our commitment, but it's nice to be reminded what Baba has committed himself. Like one point, Baba says that Baba promised you right till the end, my children will never go hungry. They will at least have dal and roti. So instead of me trying to save and think where I can store lots of food, lots of grain, let me rather use my time in doing for Baba, and he'll make sure that there's reserves and stocks. Maybe the things I save, by the time I go to it, it might have weevils in it, no? Baba will get fresh stock for us. So do not become those who only love, only sometimes. Be those who always fulfill the responsibility of love. Many know how to love, but only a few know how to fulfill the responsibility of love. And this is why you are a handful out of many. Babdada is always pleased to see the double foreign children because you have become worthy of receiving his help. with your courage, and you have broken many types of bondage of Maya and crossed many boundaries of different customs and systems and arrived here. There are many who are older ones of all, and also those who are new in the cycle. The courage of both are good. All of you are number one in maintaining this courage. Therefore, in what respect is there a number? Double foreigners make special effort, and in their heart-to-heart conversation, they say that they will definitely become part of the rosary of 108. What do you think? Or the number's already gone? There's space fast in the rosary of 108, and in the rosary of 8, any space it's left there? So if there is, are you working to getting in it? Baba says, do any of you question whether you can become part of this? You will definitely become part of it. Seats in the rosary are reserved for double foreigners. But how many and who will become part of it? Baba will tell you as you progress further. So why is the number created? Each of you say with your right, he is my Baba. So you have full rights, and yet why is there a number? Of course, there will be a difference between someone who is number one and someone who is number 8. Why is there so much difference? Let alone the rosary of 16,000, just look at 108. There is a vast difference between the first beat 1 and 108. So why is there a difference? All of you have passed in courage. However, in return for your courage, the help that you receive from the Father and the Brahmin family, to receive that help and to use it at the right time, is able to use the help that is the power that you need at that time. The difference is in the power to decide and the power to use it for a task. All of you receive an inheritance from the Almighty Authority Father, the one with all powers. It isn't that some receive 8 powers and others receive 6 powers. You all receive all powers. You were told earlier too that you receive success by using the right method. The method for using power for a task. One is a method for belonging to the Father, and the second is a method of receiving inheritance from the Father, and the third is a method of using that inheritance you have received from the Father. So there is a difference in the method of using it for a task. So like, for example, we know we wake up in the morning for Amrit Vela, right? And so we know it's 45 minutes, let's say minimum, or whatever your time is. But then you actually find yourself having something to do. So you think, okay, I won't meditate from 4 to 4:45. I'll give that 45 minutes a little bit later. I just do all of these things I have to do, and then I will do it. Guess what? Your intention was right, but actually, what is that time designated for? Baba is giving blessings at that time. So yes, you did sit for 45 minutes, but Baba's attention went to the other part of the world. So then you make a lot more effort and get little response. So Baba is really using this whole thing about knowing when to use what at the right time. Sometimes, we become a little bit smart doing our own calculations, but in doing that, you miss out the power that is actually going. And something Baba is using here that is saying what makes us number wise is that we're not getting what we need at the appropriate time. If you plant a seed, maybe in June, and the same seed you plant towards July, August, which one do you think will grow better, at least in our country?
August.
Not the one in June. You thought you were a little bit early and you got it done, but it's not the right environment. And so the right environment is actually when it is the time. So there's very much importance that Baba is giving about, he has created a timetable for us, what we need to do, how we need to do. And we can maybe make our own little deductions. But the point is that we will be going against the gray wave. It's Baba is why in the confluence age is a Brahmin family created. If it was not necessary, we would all be sitting on our own somewhere and doing our own thing. We wouldn't need to all go to Madhuban or come to class or be together in the gathering. Why do you think that system was created? Can we really do it alone? But you can see that, what's happening is that because this is also a kind of Maya that's taking place, because there's technology and all of it. So we actually zooming in and, kind of creating that. But at the end of the day, what we're going to get from actually being together and collectively doing Baba's work is actually going to not be something I can be part of if I keep myself separate. And something Sister Gayatri shared yesterday, I think she was saying that, in the early days, there was a fewer people who were practicing soul consciousness and all of it. And now the number of Brahmins have definitely increased. And if we all really can be united, then our reinforced energy can make the shift. So now is even a more important time that we listen to Baba and we all collectively do what Baba is saying, not on our own time, but to try and align with the gathering so that actually, if the same thought happens by a lot more people at the same time, it will have a greater impact in the world. It's not that what you do on your own is not good, but what is our purpose? We have sustained ourselves for a long time. We got for Baba a long time. What is our responsibility now as Brahmins? Is it still just to serve us, what is comfortable and convenient for me? Or is it time for us to get together and see how we can bring transformation of the world? So for that, we're going to have to change our way. If we always do what we always did, we'll be comfortable and feel good we're following, but it's within our convenience. Is it helping the bigger process? And I think this is something we all have to really think about carefully, because we can't still feel that we need to look after ourselves. I think if Brahmins are still sitting with that subtle feeling, I need, I think we're not going to make it. Because what is the purpose of the foundation, the roots? The roots has never been there for its own purpose. It's always there to be a conduit to serve the whole tree. So a nice thing for us to check. If I want to bring that power into my life, I have to align myself in what Baba is asking. And the time of the confluence age for us is to serve. But how are we going to serve? Not on our own. It has to happen in a collective, in a very powerful way. So maybe this is also something maybe we must sit together and see how we can create some unity in our thinking, some alignment in the things we do, so that the impact of what we do can make a shift in all different ways. So Baba is saying the method for using the power for a task. One is the method of belonging to the Father. The second is a method of receiving the inheritance from the Father. And the third is the method of using the inheritance you have received from the Father. So there is a difference in the method of using it for a task. All of you have points. When you have a workshop on one topic, you extract so many points. So one method is to keep a point in your intellect, and the second is to become a point and use the point to become a point form and also to have points. Let there be a balance in the two. This is receiving number one success by using number one method. Sometimes you go into expansion of points, and sometimes you stabilize yourself in the point form. Being a point form and having points have to be together. So increase the power of using this. Say, do you understand? Now, why is he saying that? Doesn't he think we understand? And Brother Sachin made a very good point. He says, most of the time, no one knows what's happening. He said, Baba does ask because he's asking us, do we really understand what Baba's intention for us is? Anyway, don't get so stunned. But actually, the point is, it's true. We need to check it. Because we're so used to listening to all this stuff. Do I have clarity what I need to do? So Baba says, if you want to become number one, you have to do this. Nowadays, with the power of science, they have speeded up the method of doing something with the facilities provided by science. The amount of work that a living person is able to do in a certain time, the facility of science, computers are able to do that same work so much more quickly. Computer even corrects a living person. If only Baba knew about Zoom still, it wasn't there. So, since the facilities of science can speed up the power of using something, many such inventions have been made and are also being made. Then Brahman souls with the power of silence can make a task successful so fast and accurately. Take a decision in a second, and in a second, make the task successful in a practical way. You also need to have a balance of thinking and doing. Some Brahman souls think too much. Most of the time, people are tired before anything because they thought it over so much, and doing didn't even start. If you think and do, you can get a lot more done. Like, think it, do it, and then think more. Don't think, then the doing doesn't actually happen. So Brahman souls think too much. Anyone can agree with Baba there? Brahman souls think too much. But at the time of doing something, they don't do as much as they think. Whereas others begin to do something and then think it later as to whether they did it correctly or not. What should we do now? Thinking and doing should both be at the same time. So this consciousness of being present is the key, actually. Think and put it into practice. Don't think. And thinking is worrying, isn't it? So what happens otherwise? You think that you are going to do something, but if you try to do it after thinking, then while thinking about it, the time of the circumstances of getting that out changes. You then say, I was going to do it. I had thought about it. Since instruments of science that have a fast speed are being invented, what can you not do in a second? The instruments for destruction are moving forward at a fast speed. And so what can the powerful facilities of silence power of establishment not do? Now, matter is invoking you, masters. You don't order her, so the elements are creating so much chaos. Baba knows about the landslides in Durban. If you, masters, become ready, the elements will welcome you. Are you ready for that? So one of the very beautiful qualifications of the 8 is that they control on the elements. And Daddy Prakash Mani, very beautiful experience. In one of the book messages after she left the body, the trance messages said that all the elements came to take leave from Daddy. Daddy had really conquered everything. There's a beautiful story also of Daddy where when they just moved to Shantivan, that time there was still a lot of forest and so a snake had got into the house, into the bathroom, through the toilet or near the toilet or something like that. And in how the shower and the toilet are all in one block. So Daddy was having a bath and she could see the snake there. But she didn't scream, help or anything. She had a bath, everything finished. Whatever she did with the snake, with the thoughts, didn't attack her or anything. Then she got out of the bath and she told Muni, there's a snake in the bathroom, tell the brothers to sort it out. Then afterwards, when Muni Ben asked her, when was it there? She said, no, for most of the time when I was having my shower, it was there. So think about it, who's more frightened, the snake or you? So if you didn't get frightened, the snake would be relaxed, isn't it? So little examples like that. Now, I'm telling you this example. Now you put yourself in the situation. Now tell me honestly, how yogi are we? Can you see? But if we're sitting here, oh no, Papa, I'm doing everything. I'm very good. But when you put these examples and you put yourself in the position, you're in the bathroom, you're showering and there's a snake there, you're going to run out without your clothes because you can't even be bothered then, no? So think about it. So this is one thing that's very beautiful. We don't realize that listening to Gyan, our intellects are so trained to listen to it. Now put a practical episode in front of the practice of that knowledge and ask yourself, how will you behave? So then it changes quite considerably, isn't it? Then that feeling I'm doing everything right and I'm all on track suddenly takes a bit of a halt, isn't it? So, there's a very interesting thing about Baba's knowledge. There's what we call the Gita. That's the content of the Murli and all of it. Then it's called the Bhagavad. And the Bhagavad is the stories of the Yagya. And sometimes we wonder, what's the benefit of all these stories of the Yagya, right? But the point is that in the practical stories of the Yagya, you see the application of knowledge. And let's go to one other story, which is beautiful. That is Janki, when she first arrived in London. What did she sleep on? Anyone knows? A door. In London, on a door, because they didn't have no facilities. And so one of the brothers bought an old door, they put it on bricks and they made it. And then in the daytime, the door became, they put a blanket over, a sheet over it, and it became the gadi. So she would teach off that in the daytime, and at night she slept on it. Now this was already around 73, 74. Daddy is already so many years in Gyan. And she came there as a teacher, and that's what she had as a facility. Now, if you were a teacher now, and somebody invited you to go to a place to do service, and they made you sleep on the door, how would you feel? Well respected, well loved, honored to be there? It won't be. I came to do service and this is how you're treating me. So just think, you listen to Daddy's story, now apply it to your life. It's not a story anymore, it's a lesson. So don't listen to stories. Always when you're listening to the story, now ask yourself, if I was there, how would I feel? It's very nice to listen to a story, but it only becomes beneficial. That's why the Bhagavad is very important. This whole thing about how Brahma Baba, the Dadis survived, the whole thing is that they used soul consciousness in a practical way. So what we do, we good at, we know all the points. And this is why he's saying, most of us have a good enough intellect to be able to grasp the knowledge, the content of it, and in the right voice, with the right use of words, express it. Now, how are you going to live it? So this is really, I feel, it's just more and more becoming a reality that if we don't do this, we're going to deceive ourselves. Imagine if you didn't have any salt and you had to eat food like that for a week. Let's not go any further. Can you see what happens? No, there's one thing is missing. I'll run the whole kitchen dry to go and get it because I need to have that before I can do this. So all the little things that, has to be in place. Why? Have I become a master that I don't need it? Or I'm a master, so I should have it. So we use the Gyan in the wrong way. So this is really lovely. I really feel Baba is forcing us to shift ourselves from this position of what we were and how we can become. Eventually, a master is someone who has nothing. They only have themselves and they're content with just being themselves. Nothing else has to be in place. So Baba says, you then use it. I was going to do it. I had the thought, since instruments of science that have a fast speed are being invented, what can you not do in a second? The instruments of destruction are moving forward at a fast speed. So what can the powerful facilities of silence, power of establishment not do? Now, matter is invoking you, masters. You don't order her, and so the elements are creating so much chaos. So check this message there. So if masters become ready, the elements will welcome you. Are you ready for that? Or are you now becoming ready? Even until now, your devotees are praising the full-scale preparation. Baba says, do you know your praise? Now check, are you full of all virtues, completely viceless, completely non-violent, the most elevated beings following the highest code of conduct and 16 celestial degrees full? When you are full in everything, you can then understand that the masters are ready. However, and it's you going to give yourself a certificate, you know that, right? However, if there is a percentage in this, then understand that the masters are not ready. You are a child, but you have not yet become a master. When you are, the elements will then welcome you, masters. You are the children of the Father. That is fine. You have passed in that. However, to become full of all these 5 things means to become a master. Should we order the elements? What do you think? Rain, storm, volcanoes, riots, floods. heat, cold, no food, no grain, no water, no electricity. Now we're touching closer home, right? Acha, you will become ready in the year of Tapasya, will you not? Should we order it then? This year of Tapasya is the last chance. So Sister Jayanti said it very beautifully. She said, we need to all consider that even though Baba 1991 was the year of Tapasya, it's so appropriate for now. So this year we should celebrate it as a year of Tapasya and give us till the end of this year to sort all this out. Acha, to all the souls everywhere who have a right to self-sovereignty, to all the special souls who are constantly seated on the double throne, to the souls who have been blessed and who make the powers of thinking and doing equal, to the children who are conquerors of the heart and fulfill the responsibility of love of God, love, remembrance, and namaste from Dilaram, the comforter of hearts, Bap Dada. Namaste to our sweet Baba. On a Sunday, we don't really say anything to him. Okay, Avaya Bap Dada meeting groups. You have the happiness, do you not, that while living in Maharashtra, you have truly become great. Those people are great just in name. They are Mahatmas, great souls, whereas you are great souls in a practical way. You have this happiness, do you not? Great souls constantly stay in the highest stage. Those people sit on a high seat and their disciples would sit below them. They themselves would be seated high, but where are you seated? On the seat of a high stage. The highest stage is a high seat. When you stay on the seat of a high stage, Maya cannot come. She will consider you to be great and bow down to you. She will not attack you, but will consider herself to be defeated. It is when you come down from a high seat that Maya attacks. If you constantly stay in a high seat, Maya will not dare to come to you. She cannot climb up. So you have received a seat so easily. In front of your fortune, your renunciation is nothing. So one question just to think about, do you think we've given up anything? Having come to Baba, have we given up anything? Sannyasis have left their homes and their families, all their comforts, and went to the jungle, no? Have we left anything? We got everything, isn't it?
Yes, all the comforts.
So what do you think? What is the renunciation required?
And the salt too, that too.
You know, it's a bit tricky because you think you're doing all the things and you don't know you're just fitting in. But that's why it's nice to really check when the things are not there. When you put that there, and how often you put something there and then when you go and find it, you can't, and you get so frustrated. I know it's there and I don't know who put it away. Meantime, you forgot you put it somewhere else and you're blaming somebody else. But the fact is, so often we want things to be in the right place. And when it's not, we can't function. So are we masters or are we dependent on even that thing being there? Can you see it's not so subtle. It's so subtle. It's not that it is not gross, it's very subtle. But if we're not going to shift our method of thinking about it, then we're going to just stick off, I did this, I did this, I did this. And how many years have we been doing all of that? So obviously in this year of Tapasya, that's why Baba said that when you spend a little bit more time, like reflecting on what it is that we're doing, then can we see that in the way I'm thinking, the way I'm feeling, and the way I'm doing it has changed. So imagine there's nothing, I feel still as intoxicated. Everything is going wrong, but I'm still blissful. Then we can say that things are not mattering anymore. So I think these are maybe things we need to put ourselves through, but really be practical and see. We have, like Baba says, many skills, many things, many facilities. Just one day imagine nothing works. Even your car doesn't work. Are you going to work? Will you continue functioning when those things don't function? So Baba says, you have to claim a right to elevated attainment even more than you dreamt of. You have the happiness of this fortune to your not. There is no happiness in the world. They have maintained money, they have attained money illegally, but they don't have happiness. All are poor in terms of the treasures of happiness. They are beggars. You are full of the treasures of happiness. How long will this happiness last? It will continue for the whole cycle. They will receive happiness even from your non-living images. So check whether you have accumulated so much happiness. It isn't that it will only last for 1 or 2 births and that it will then finish. I'll read that again. It isn't that it will only last for 1 or 2 births and then it will then finish, is it? Accumulate so much stock that it will be with you for innumerable births. However much someone has accumulated, how much someone has accumulated, that much happiness and intoxication will be visible on their faces. Whether you say anything or not, your face will speak. They say the Brahma Kumaris are always happy. We don't know what will happen to them. They are happy even in times of sorrow. Whether you say anything or not, your face and your actions speak. The sign of being a Brahma Kumar or Kumari is that you remain happy. Days of sorrow have finished. You have received so much treasures, so how can you experience sorrow? That's it. God has spoken. Blessing. May you be a world transformer and use your stage of completion to order matter. When you world transformer souls collectively have the thought of transforming the world with your complete and perfect stage, matter will then begin to dance. Matter will begin then the dance of total upheaval. Wind, earth, ocean, water, the upheaval of all of these will cleanse everything. There's going to be no break, people. This is just the beginning. However, the elements will only obey your orders when your cooperative physical senses, your mind, intellect, and sanskaras obey your orders. Along with this, you must have such a high stage of powerful tapasya that everyone has the thought of transformation at the same time, and the elements will then become present. So notice there, it's not me on my own stage. When we all have this thought collectively, So the need within the Brahmin family to have unity is utmost. It's absolutely essential. Not about what I'm doing to sort myself out, but how can I integrate to make the family powerful so that collectively the energy of everyone can bring about the transformation. Slogan: continue to create everyone's fortune with your elevated fortune and to remind them constantly of God. Om Shanti. So, shall we have a song? Brother Avinal, can you play us a song?
I'll play a song.
Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, we're not going to hear anything.
सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का सवेरा जागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घन घोर अंधेरा भागे, चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घन घोर अंधेरा भागे, कहीं धूप खिले कहीं छाँव मिले, लंबी सी डगर न खले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले। जहाँ दूर नजर दौड़ाए, आजाद गगन लहराए, जहाँ दूर नजर दौड़ाए, आजाद गगन लहराए, जहाँ रंग बिरंगे पंछी आशा का संदेशा लाए, जहाँ रंग बिरंगे पंछी आशा का संदेशा लाए, सपनों में पले हंसती हो कली, जहाँ शाम सुहानी ढले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहाँ गम भी न हो आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले।
Shanti. So that song was very beautiful. It says that under such a sky where there's only happiness, where there's only love and no sorrow at all. And who's creating that world? But we need to bring that change in us. So yeah, definitely a very beautiful inspiration from Baba. I like yesterday's Murli, too short, sweet, and to the point, and today's also short, sweet, and to the point. But it's in those kind of things that we know that Baba doesn't want to create unnecessary expansion. But it's also up to us, not to feel we need to be entertained anymore. But you get it and you do it. And then that's really going to give us strength and power. And always, if you have the thought, you say, I'll do it just now. No, tomorrow. And that's it. The chance never comes. You really have to kind of respond to the moment. So if you listen to Baba today, what is Baba telling you? What is your message from Baba today? So now you can share.
I think it's more about time. Do it now. Do it with everyone. Unite with everyone. And just don't miss the time and don't waste it. Be with it now.
So what is it that you have to do in this
That
time?
we should transform and get our time and our timetable and our time charts.
Okay, so in all of that, what one thing will you do from what he said today?
He said, use your energy in the right place in the right time.
Okay, so use your energy in the right time, in the right place. Okay. Anyone else? Sister Claire? Oh, by the way, just want to introduce you to the Peter Maritzburg family. We are in Scottsville. There we go. More say hello to everyone. All right, so okay. Sister Claire? Sorry, Sister Claire, I didn't hear too well. I didn't hear too well.
What I ought to do is to keep my feelings. Yes, feeling and do meditation at the same time, not just go and do something else instead of meditation. Because I get more when I do with it.
There's more power in the gathering.
The time I do meditation, others are doing it.
Definitely. I'm just perhaps going to inspire the souls on Zoom. Perhaps I'm going to switch off now. We'll kind of do revision, and maybe if you want to do revision between yourselves, I'm not sure who's there. Just 1 second. Anyone like to take up the Murli revision? Sisters?
We can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
So I see there is a comment, Sister Debbie. Om Shanti, sweet family. Thank you for the beautiful class. Thank you, Sister Debbie. Anyone would like to share their takings from the Murli today? Anyone wants to share? Brother Jay? Brother Karva?
Sorry, sister, sorry. Well, I just like the concept of the self-sovereignty, the self-mastery, my mastery over my organs, my control. How much of control do I have over it? It is something that I'd be working on and trying to be, a lot more conscious of. Thank you. Beautiful, lovely, Murli, as usual.